So I was muted then. Hello everyone, and welcome to the latest video on all things Sky Blue, our YouTube channel. You can see our socials are down below. We are on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We are partnered with the Anecdote Sports Bar at the CBS Arena. If you are looking to find somewhere to watch the game on Sunday, they are showing it in the bar. They aren't taking reservations for seats and tables, but they do open at 11. So if you want to go there and avoid disappointment, please do get there about an hour before kickoff to make sure that you do get somewhere to sit down, because it is a first come first served basis. That being said, we are here to preview the game on Sunday away at Leicester, and I'm proud to be joined by Reeedy from LeicesterFanTv. How are you, buddy?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. Thanks for coming on. Before we start to preview the game and the season in general, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourselves as a channel?
Yeah, so obviously we're kind of fans-led kind of channel run by the fans for the fans to get people's views, give our own opinions on how the Leicester games are going or what our thoughts are from the transfer window and all that good stuff. And then obviously we do our own live shows for certain things like team news, what we think the team's going to be, and then you obviously got away fan shows, which I think one of you from your channel is going to be on there tomorrow with us to preview the game as well. So yeah, just everything kind of football related for Leicester City.
Excellent stuff. And I see you've got quite a big Twitter following as well, so you're definitely an inspiration to us in that regard. I want to start by sort of looking at the past, because I think it's fair to say that both teams didn't have the best end to the season. Obviously, us guys one step away from the Premier League and ultimately coming up short on penalties, which is, it still hurts most of us now. And obviously you guys sadly relegated, finishing 18th. I think it was a couple of points below Everton. Where do you think it all went wrong for you guys? Was it personnel, management, a combination?
There's so many things last season that inevitably got us relegated. Obviously, firstly, the transfer window last season was absolutely dreadful. We got rid of our best defender in Fofana for awful amounts, and just too late. We didn't get the money until late on, and then we only brought one player in a defender, which obviously wasn't great. Then we had Schmeichel leaving as well, obviously our biggest captain and biggest kind of voice in the changing room, which was a big issue as well. Didn't want to replace that. We gave our backing keeper the chance to be number one. He was absolutely woeful, conceding goals left, right, and centre. And then just tactics and just the manager in general, just not changing, being stubborn with what he was doing. I was trying to back him as much as I could, but from the end of the season, you could see that there was no change, no nothing, keeping players in when they're not performing to the levels. And like I said, we had the likes of Maddison and Barnes scoring goals, but it just wasn't enough to keep us up. So then we had to change it, and it was better when we got Dean Smith in, but it just didn't do enough to get us where we wanted to be, and that was to get out of the relegation zone. So again, we all didn't expect it to start the season, but as time was going on in the season, we just knew it was going to happen at some point because we just weren't improving. So, and like I said, we're losing back to back games, which obviously isn't going to be helpful to stay in the Premier League.
Yeah, that sort of leads on to my next question, because I was going to ask if you think that in a way, dropping down a division could be a bit of a blessing in disguise. I mean, for us, when we were in League One, we had Russell Slade and we were doing awfully. The one thing that sort of kept us going that season was the Checker Trade trophy. When Robbins came in, the damage has already sort of been done. We were going to go down anyway, but I think it sort of started our trajectory upwards, going back into League Two and coming straight back up. Do you think it could be the case that it could be a good thing for you guys?
Well, as much as I'm not too clued up on the Championship, because obviously we've been in the Premier League for the last 10 years, so from what I know of, the Championship isn't easy. It's probably just as hard as Premier League or even harder, because it's not the same sort of football. You can't play fancy football and win the games. You've got to be getting stuck in. You've got to be physical. And the team, the kind of the setup we're doing at the moment, might not suit the Championship. Sorry. So we're hoping we're going to be like the Burnley from last year, which smash teams left, right, and centre, even if they are out of possession and whatnot. But it's hard because we all, well, not all of us, but a lot of Leicester fans think we're going to go straight back up. I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think it is because we have lost a lot of our key players. But as of now, and with the transfer window still having about another month to go, we still could lose a lot of our players. But at the moment, with the team we've got now, it's still Premier League quality. So realistically, on paper, we should be dominating teams and beating teams most games at the moment. But again, that's not as simple as just saying we should be winning. So it is a hard one, and I don't think it'll be as easy as what we think it'll be.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I'd say is I think that this championship season is going to be the most competitive, certainly in recent memory. Maybe not of all time, but certainly the past decade or so. There's honestly about 16, 17 teams that could either creep into the playoffs or get automatics. It's outstanding, really. I want to get a word on your manager as well. I do forget his name. I know he's from Man City, which kind of links with the Doyle connection. What are your thoughts on the appointment?
Well, before we all got the announcement of the new manager, we were all linked with the likes of Scott Parker, who obviously managed Fulham and Bournemouth beforehand, who got them promoted, which I was kind of my first choice because of what he's done previously. We had the likes of Steven Gerrard linked. We had the likes of Enzo Maresca, which obviously we did go for. But we've chosen Enzo Maresca. It was a bit of a gamble, in my opinion, and a bit of a risk because the way most fans see it for Leicester is we have to get back up first time, because if we don't, we're probably going to be stuck in the Championship, losing all of our players for the next couple of years. So it's the first and only time we've got to try and get back into the Premier League this season. And the tactics and the manager appointment has to work, and it has to work perfectly for us to get back in, because otherwise, if we're 10 games or 15 games in and we're not top 6 or top 10 at least, would be maybe wondering why we've not picked a more of a sensible option.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as you said, Reedy, towards the start, you've already got essentially a bit of a Premier League team on paper. At the moment, you've still got your Vardys, your Iheanachos, your Dakas of the world. You brought in Harry Winks, which I think is probably an underrated signing, in my view. Obviously, Connor Cody's come in as well. And you've got, is it Mavidi?
Yeah, Mavididi. Yeah, we only just signed him today, and we've been linked to him a while, but I think it was because of the Barnes exit for us. That's what kind of made it snap the bid and go get him, because we needed a replacement for him. As much as we probably won't use Barnes to the style that we did last year, because we're playing more free at the back with wing backs this year instead of being wingers, Mavididi might be a key player into like maybe replacing someone instead of Barnes, maybe someone like Maddison. We don't know, because it looks like he'll be a number 10. But yeah, his career's not been the greatest from what we've seen, but some players that have come to the Premier League who haven't had the best of careers have really smashed it on fire. So maybe he's dropped down a level to Championship level. Like you say, someone like Winks might actually smash it. So hopefully Mavididi does well.
Yeah, is there a signing in particular that you're most excited to see? I mean, as a Cov fan from our signings, I think there's so many to choose from. Ellis Sims, I think it was a shrewd bit of business. Tatsuro Sakamoto, I can't wait to see in the flesh. And even Bobby Thomas at the back. I think we've done so many good deals. Is there anyone for you that stands out as someone that excites you as a Leicester fan?
I wouldn't say an exciting signing, but because most of the signings we've made this summer has been kind of more leadership / quality level and not more exciting kind of vibes. I think out of all of them, probably Mavididi is most exciting because he's an attacker, whereas the majority of the ones we've brought in are either a defender in Connor Cody, who is kind of experienced, or you've got someone like Winks, who just knows what he's doing in the Premier League and is key with using his feet on the ball. So there's no exciting players, but when it comes to the level what we've brought, I think what we've brought is amazing, because, like I say, they're all Premier League level in the Championship. So
yeah, that makes sense. Before we do look at the game in more detail, what do you think would be an appropriate expectation for the season? Obviously, you've spoken about a lot of Leicester fans wanting to go straight back up. Obviously, that's a lot easier said than done. You've also got a new manager that's not had a year under his belt yet. Is coming in. What would be your realistic expectation?
Well, we all, even I know, and I've seen the Championship the last couple of years. Anyone can win it, even if the last 10 games is completely different. And you see other teams win it when there was like 7th within 10 games to go. So anything can happen. I do think we'll have a rough patch to begin with because the transfer window is still going for about another month. So our whole team could be changed by then. But I do think, other than the rough patch, I do see us probably going up. I have called ourselves to get second. I think there'll be one other team that will be chasing it. And if that's Leeds, if it's Southampton, if it's you lot, we will be challenging with them. I just don't think we'll be able to smash the league on fire and just absolutely ruin the league because, again, it's not as easy as what people think the champion is going to be. So, but I think promotion or a playoff spot at least will be what we expect this season.
Yeah, and I mean, as a Cov fan, obviously, we don't want to see you up there, but I think you are one of the teams that probably will end up being up there, in my view anyway. Obviously, the M69 Derby returns after 11, 12 years. I think it was 2012, the last one. What are your thoughts on that returning? Does it excite you? Are you not first? What's your thoughts on the M69 Derby?
Well, because I'm quite a young fan, I don't know too much about this sort of derby. Obviously, I know the Forest Derby and all that with us, and the Derby with Derby. I've not actually seen a game live against Coventry before, but I know of it, and I know it's such a big game for a lot of fans who are older. So, again, was it a coincidence that we get you first game of the season when we've just got relegated and you've just nearly got promoted? I feel like it's a bit of a coincidence, but like you say, it's a big game. Hopefully, all the players will see it's that big of a game. And hopefully, the local lads like Dewsbury Hall or any of your lads who are homegrown or whatnot will see it as a big game, and hopefully, it's a good game. Because, like I say, as much as, and this is me thinking, you won't be as strong as last year because you've lost your striker. Like I say, someone like Emerson's or whatever his name is, he might smash it anyway. So hopefully it's a good game, and it obviously will be tense because it is a derby.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, with Gyökeres going, I mean, we all kind of knew as Cov fans he was going to go. Even if we went up, we knew that he wasn't going to sign. We knew that he had his heart set elsewhere. His agent was getting in his ear. That's fair enough. There's not a player in the league that could replace Gyökeres. We know that. So we've had to box clever, get Ellis Sims, and he's not going to do what Gyökeres does too much. But from what I've seen, I think he could end up being more clinical than Gyökeres. And it sounds stupid, I think he scored 21 goals last season, Gyökeres, but he wasn't that clinical. He could have ended up getting 30, 32, 33, and that's no joke. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how Sims does. And he's almost got to hit the ground running because we are waiting for our apparent signing coming in. Wright, his name is. Forgot his Hadji Wright, his name is, from the US. At the minute, we've got two strikers, Sims and Godden. So, like I say, Sims at the moment needs to hit the ground running. Hopefully starts on Sunday. Is there anyone from our side that you're skeptical about or concerned about as a threat?
Again, if I'm totally honest, I'm not too clued up on most championship sides. Obviously, some of them have recently have been relegated, like I say, the likes of Southampton or Leeds or a few others that came out. Like I say, Burnley was there last year. I know a few more players like that, but other than your striker, who we always saw scoring last year, was the only kind of players that I know I was going to be worried about. But since he's gone, I'm not too sure who is your attacking threat, who is your best players now. So obviously, you did have Doyle last year, if I'm not mistaken. So we've got him now. So hopefully that's a threat against you. But like I say, you know more about your team and what kind of threats you've got going forward if you've made any signings and whatnot. So is there anyone you think that we've got to look out for?
Well, I think we've already spoke about Sims. I think he will be clinical if he gets a chance in the box. Like I said, Tatsuro Sakamoto, we could end up playing right wing back, lad from Japan, rapid, 2-footed, so he could be a threat. And then, I mean, we've got obviously Gustavo Hamer, assuming he's going to stay. I've got my fingers and toes crossed on that one. He could absolutely run the game on his own. He will end up playing Premier League football in the next couple of years. There's no doubt about it. Benchy, I mean, I could go on and on because we have got that quality now that we've been sorely lacking for years. And I think it will be quite an intense intense game, and I think from a neutral perspective, if they're watching it, I think it'd be great viewing. If I am to push you for a score prediction, what would it be?
Well, we've talked about it with the Leicester fans that we know, and it's hard to predict because, like, when we first got relegated, we were saying that we wouldn't know how to expect. If we lost, we'd be like, how the hell did we lose that game? Or we shouldn't be losing to Championship side, but we are Championship now, so we can't expect to win every game. But a comfortable win for us would be probably a good start of the season. I will say that because I've got every every bit of my brain thinks we could lose. I know we could lose, but again, for me, hopefully a comfortable win for us would be ideal to start the season off well. Like I say, Enzo Maresca's not managed pretty much a game all in his career, so hopefully it's a good start. But again, I'm not going to say that you're not going to win because you've got every chance. Like I say, you were nearly promoted last season. So if I had to predict a score, I probably would say a 2 or 3-0 comfortable win, but that's just on my end.
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen. I'm going to go for 1-1. I think we'll go a goal ahead. I think Casey Palmer might get a goal. He's looked really good in pre-season for us, attacking midfielder. And I think that you'll equalise in the second half at some point. Probably Ian Atcho or someone. But yeah, I mean, most Cov fans would snatch a hand off for a point. They really would, just to get the ball rolling. Really, you don't want to start the season off with a loss.
It's a hard one for you as well because you think about it. Like I say, you just got promoted, we just got relegated. It's like a point. I don't know how the way you see it, but if a point against Leicester for you, was that a very good result, or do you think you can do something and beat us on Sunday? I'm not too sure how your kind of fans are thinking about Leicester. Are they the big dogs now in the league, or?
Yeah, I'd say that you guys are a threat. I think all relegated teams are. Southampton and Leeds and that as well. Like I say, you've still got Middlesbrough in there that didn't go up last season. Sunderland, I think, will be a threat again. Birmingham are doing some really good business. I think there's so many teams that could go up, but I think most Cov fans do see you in the top 6, which I think is fair. I certainly think you'll be anywhere between 1st and 4th, personally. I do want to end off with a little bit of a word association game. So I'm going to give you some terms or a couple of words and just give a response with one word. First word, King Power Stadium.
Home.
Jamie Vardy.
Goat.
I don't know if you still use these, but clappers.
Awful. I don't like them. I can't stand them.
M69 Derby.
Rivals, I guess.
And 23 to 24 season.
Promotion.
I like it.
Hopefully.
Thanks for this, Reeedy. Do you want to sign off again with where you can find you guys?
Yeah, so obviously there's a lot of us do a channel called LeicesterFanTv. If you want to kind of get over there, subscribe to us if you want to, or for all the Leicester content. Again, we'll be doing it for all the channels around the Championship. So make sure you give a look at that for us. Obviously, if you're not a Cov fan or not a Leicester fan and you want to get a view on or if Coventry are playing, then come and check us out. Because like I say, we'll be doing another show tomorrow with, I don't know if it's you or someone else from your channel to get your views on our game as well. So all good.
Yeah, that'll be Stuart on yours. He does talk a little bit more sense than me, which is quite good for you guys. But thanks so much, Reeedy. All the best in a sense for Sunday. And yeah, I'm sure you'll be fine this season.
Hopefully. I'd say after that game anyway, after the game on Sunday.
Brilliant. Cheers, Reeedy. Top man.
Cheers.